Centered with the plant.
Plant centering.
It's where we center ourselves with fake foliage. So is it true that we're renaming this the Brach and Dallan Podcast?
Podcast, because of, we're more than just bodies. Okay, a lot of people really...
I'm not just a hunk of meat.
Yeah, he's so much more. He's sensitive. You know that he really cares. He's very talented. He hunts. He's taken down a bear. I think a lot of people need to know that.
I'm not single, though.
That he's not single, but I think it's important that people know that. If I were dealing with Brach and I didn't know that he had taken down a bear, I might deal with you differently.
Wow.
But knowing that information, I'm able to adapt.
Anyways, welcome on into the Big Access Podcast, everybody.
Straight from the surface of the literal sun.
It's a little bright in here, sitting behind the lights, but we're really excited to have Dallan Labrum back with us, everybody.
I'm back.
Yeah,
by popular demand. I think 11 people.
11 people requested to have you back.
Thanks, guys.
So it's exciting. Anyways, you guys might know Dallan.
3 of them are Greg.
3 of them are Greg. Yeah, 3 of them are Greg, and then a couple of them are other RSMs. So, but anyways, those of you who know Dallan, he is our VP of Sales and Support over here at PDK, and is a fantastic person to be around. He's very good at what he does. He helps lead our sales team, who have great relationships with you guys. So thank you for being on, Dallan.
Yeah, that was the nicest thing Brach has ever said about me, and I'm being dead serious.
I was going to say that probably is.
That tops the charts. I'm like in tears over here.
Please pause for Dallan to get his composure back. Okay, you're good?
Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
All right. Well, anyways, today is going to be a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about a specific subject that we want to throw out there for our dealer base so that they can use this opportunity as an educational moment, right? And so Dallan is going to be the perfect person to talk with about this because of his salesmanship and his...
My salesmanship.
Yeah. Yes, your
Email me directly for pictures of my salesmanship.
Dude, I can never keep it straight when I'm with Dallan. Anyways, so Dallan and the sales team, they deal with our dealers directly, and a big part of what our dealers work with, our partners, we call our dealers our partners, they work with recurring revenue, right?
Yeah.
Recurring revenue is a great way for businesses to succeed. It's a great way to be able to make sure that your clients have everything that they need whenever they need it, and it's a great way to retain clients as well.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit more about why RMR is beneficial in the security world and what benefits that really has for our partners. So, Dallan.
Should I kick it off?
Go ahead and kick it off, brother.
Right. One of my favorite quotes. This is one of my favorite quotes about recurring revenue, okay? If you are going to charge a recurring fee, you better make sure that you have a product that offers recurring value, okay? Because people hate being host. I mean, they just do. People hate being host. They hate paying for things that they don't see the value in. And so one of the reasons PDK is growing so quickly is because of the amount of value that we offer. It's hard to concentrate when Jordan's losing it behind the mic.
If there wasn't even anything funny said.
Is he crying? Is he so happy that our dealers are just accumulating large amounts of recurring revenue that he can't even keep it in?
I think that's probably it. He is so happy that our partners are doing so well.
Dude, I love that. It's distracting to say the least.
My goodness, Jordan, be professional.
Sorry, I'm happy.
Anyways, Dallan. Back to the podcast.
Yeah.
So RMR, it's important.
Yeah, it is important. Okay, so like I just talked about, one of the cool things about PDK is we're always pushing updates, right? When you talk about RMR, when you're looking at a product that you want to generate recurring revenue for you, you have got to be able to reach out to these customers and let them know, hey, that fee that you're paying us or that contract that you have, guess what? Here's all the new cool things that are coming out that are helping you, that are making life easier for you. This is something you requested. This is something that'll make your life easier. This is a cool new feature, a cool new integration. Those are the types of things you get with cloud-based systems that have recurring revenue streams associated.
Well, it's all about being future-proof, right? And always being able to have the latest and greatest, because with other on-premise systems or other services that are out there, once you go ahead and you install it, it is what it is, right? And people they want to pay these recurring fees so that they can always have the latest and greatest. Like, think about your Netflix subscriptions, right? If you were to go ahead and you just pay one-time service fee and these are your movies, you kind of get boring after a while, right? You need to be able to, you want new additional content. Well, it's the same with services like access control, with other security related items as well. There's more things that are out there, and as technology is constantly changing, you need to be able to adapt and have that system adapt to be able to incorporate those new features that are out there.
I love that, Brach. And if talking about recurring revenue is making you a little antsy or you don't like it, I would urge you, take a trip, okay? Rent a car, take a plane, fly to Bend, Oregon, and take a tour of the one last remaining Blockbuster video that exists. And look at it and be like, man, this is going to be my business someday.
Is it still in business? I thought it went out.
No, it's still in business.
Okay.
People go there. It's more of a tourist attraction.
It's now a museum.
They still have Terminator 2
Ooh.
In VHS. So
I think it's actually still up there in the poster that says new release.
Yeah, new release. So, if you don't want your business to end up like Blockbuster, recurring revenue has got to be a part of it. It makes your business much more stable. During COVID, one of the things that cemented me in this industry, and especially cemented me with PDK, was the amount of interaction we got with our dealers, just talking about, hey, I haven't had to let any of my team members go. I've got $100,000 of annual recurring revenue, or $250,000, or we have dealers who have millions of dollars of recurring revenue, and because of that, the stability of their business is rock solid.
Well, think about that, right? If you were to have a customer set up on a recurring model, that customer is yours for the duration of as long as they're willing to pay you, right? For your services. In the past, businesses and, security dealers specifically have had to go out and find a job. They do the installation on that job. Well, now they got to immediately turn focus to go and find another one, and then another one, and another one. And that's how you would stay in business and help build that business. But now, in a situation where, like COVID, where something might happen, you are still secured because of that recurring revenue that is still coming in. You don't necessarily have to go out and find the next job in order to be able to provide a paycheck for your employees, to be able to put food on the table.
And that's huge, right? And that leads me right into company valuations. If you're the type of person that's out there, and I'll tell you what, our dealers are like this. Their company is part of them, right? The honor, the integrity, all the things that make people in security who they are, their businesses represent that to them. But eventually, they're going to need to or want to sell that business. And we had a lot of that going on during COVID and even now. And one thing that we're finding, people are surprised one of two ways. They're surprised at how little their company's worth because they don't have any recurring revenue, or they're actually blown away by how much their company is worth because they have recurring revenue. Recurring revenue will X multiply the valuation of your company.
When you do look at the multiplier of it, I was doing some market research not too long ago where I was looking at the valuation of companies, right? And I think the details were showing that if you are doing like $1 million in sales that year, your company with no recurring revenue is really only worth something like $150,000.
Yeah.
Because all it is you're just buying a previous customer list.
Yeah, you're paying 60 to 80% of whatever your collateral's worth, really.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But then when you got to the point where you take the recurring revenue, there's oftentimes a 25 to 40x multiplier put on top of that.
Yeah, and
it's crazy.
That's still happening. And so, when a company's looking at what how valuable your company is, the more customers that you have associated with you, the better. And the cool thing is, this isn't just a way to increase profits and revenue.
No, absolutely
It does do that, but it's actually better for the end user customer as well. It's less money out of pocket, more features, more updates. They get more attention from their dealers and from their integrators. It's just a better way to do business.
It creates more of a partnership type feel instead of a customer type feel,
huge.
right? And you guys know this, with your interactions with us here at PDK, we treat you guys like partners.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you have everything that you have to be successful. And a recurring model is the same way with you and your end user customers. The more that you guys are able to interact and make sure that everything is going well, and you have that, that relationship, it just builds and compounds more and more, and eventually you're going to get more business from them. They're going to refer you to other businesses for other businesses for services. It just helps build your business in way more ways than you would ever imagine.
You got a question, Jordan?
That's him giving us a time, like, hey, we're running low.
Gotcha. Okay. I'd love to answer that for you. But yeah, I mean, you guys will find we're obviously proponents of recurring revenue. One of the reasons why I'm in this industry and at PDK, other than the incredible people that I work with, is the opportunity to help dealers build large, valuable streams of recurring revenue. And there's just no downside to this. And as PDK strives to improve our product, and as we go down the road and we find new awesome things to add to our system, your customers will be able to benefit from that while they maintain that recurring relationship with you, which is exciting. And they're never wondering why you're calling.
You never are, right?
No, they're like, oh, I pay you every month, or I pay you every year. What's going on? What can you do? And almost always the call is going to be, hey, I've got some new value to talk to you about that you're already paying for.
Yeah, exactly. And there's, like you were saying, there's a lot of things that change in these softwares. And so if you are reaching out and letting them know about it, at that point, they understand what they're paying for at that point, right? Yep. The other thing that is really good when you're trying to go and close an RMR style deal for a customer who might not, understand the value quite frankly up front, is talking to them about long-term costs of everything, right? Yeah. What are some long-term costs that are out there for like on-prem systems? Obviously, anytime there's an update, now that end user has to pay to go roll a truck. Right? Yep. Anytime that an operating system on the existing computer might be outdated, well, oftentimes you now have to go out and you have to replace the entire access control system.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
And some of these updates are so expensive with on-prem systems, they're considered capital expenditures by the business.
Capital expenditures, right?
Yeah. There's some pretty good data out there that talks about how often end users decide to update their access control and alarm systems after they get it installed, and it is not a lot, especially when you look at the cost and the effort that it takes. I mean, even just the effort of getting a thumb drive emailed to you or a disk, or even just downloading a driver from the internet, that's the old way of doing business. Mm-hmm. The cool thing about PDK, our stuff's always up to date. It's always secure. We're always finding vulnerabilities and fixing them real time so that none of your customers have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
It is, if you don't know by now, this is the way everyone is moving towards doing business. Microsoft, Netflix, everyone. They're offering small recurring payments for huge amounts of real-time value.
Yep, absolutely. You brought up one thing that I want to make sure that we cover before we end this podcast. I know we're running a little bit low on time here, but you brought up CapEx.
Yeah.
Capital expenditure.
And right? Operational expenditures.
And then there's the operational expenditure. So when you're presenting a recurring model like PDK to an end user, a great way to make sure that they understand the value they're getting is by helping them to understand the tax benefits that they get as well, right? There is a huge tax benefit for installing a cloud-based system like PDK. A capital expenditure would be like your on-prem system, where it's just installed, it is what it is. That business is able to write that system off that year, and that year alone.
Yeah. And depreciate it maybe.
Yeah. Depends on, the size of the system and whatnot.
Depends on who the manufacturer is. Some depreciate more quickly. Just mess around.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
But then if you do like a cloud-based system like ProdataKey, and there is that service attached to it, this now becomes an operational expense.
Yeah,
and what are you able to do with operational expenses, Dallan?
For the most part, almost 99% of the time, you can write it off. It's an operational expenditure like electricity, like your HVAC, like other things that you use. It's a utility.
It is.
And that's really exciting. There are obviously exceptions, but for the most part, you can pretty much be sure that your end user customers are going to be able to write off this amazing recurring value that they're getting. So that's something to talk about. Make sure you understand their business model before you promise something like this. But again, you can be sure, unless they're a 501c3, they're probably going to be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah, pretty sweet, right? Well, anyways, Dallan, we are out of time today on this episode of the Big Access Podcast, not the podcast.
Not the podcast.
That's a different one that we're going to be starting soon, so be watching for that to drop soon.
But not on YouTube.
Is that on your OnlyFans?
I don't know what that is.
Anyways, I hope that you guys are finding this podcast very beneficial and educational. Hope this was a great episode. Let us know if there's anything in particular that you are wanting to learn. Let us know. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Give it a 5-star rating. And if you want to learn more about PDK and about recurring revenue and how that can help your business, be sure to reach out to us. Go ahead and you go to ProdataKey.com. You'll find all of our contact info there. If you give us a call, you'll reach one of our awesome sales guys directly. They'll be able to get you in touch with everything you need to know.
You got Cole. You got Dylan's coming over. You got Sean
Dylan will
Blaisdell
be in
on
by
the
the time this
inside.
one drops.
We just brought on, J.R. Andrews up in the Great Lakes region. We're growing really quick. We're having a great time. We have amazing people here. So
do.
reach out to us. We would love to help you.
Yep. Again, we are partner fanatics here. When you succeed, we succeed. So we want to make sure that you're doing that. Anyways, thank you again for tuning in. Subscribe, leave 5-star rating, and let us know what you want to see next time. Thank you all.